This is a Dark Illumination Report Extra with RJ Womack.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining me for yet another episode of the podcast. This is the Dark Illumination Report podcast, and I'm RJ Womack, aka Brother Nero. This is the podcast where we try to help people take a more serious approach to their religious worship of Satan and try to help them live the best life they can. On today's episode, I'm going to be making some announcements. And the first announcement I'd like to make is that I'm going to be delaying the launch of the new tradition until sometime in December or January, because I just don't feel like I'm ready to launch this new tradition yet. I'm using a lot of different techniques that predate Christianity, and I'm trying to get away from Western occultism as much as possible. So I need to focus on my religious and spiritual work and developing my rituals and techniques for the new tradition before I can launch it. Unfortunately, I just don't feel like I'm ready at this point, and I hate having to delay it. And I intended to launch the new tradition and the ministry in June this month, but it's just not going to work out the way I wanted it to. So I'm going to have to delay it, but it's not because I want to, it's because I have to. I just don't feel like it's ready for prime time yet. The next thing I want to mention is that I just recently did a podcast, and you can listen to that podcast interview I did with Nightshade on my Twitter account. And if you want to hear my interview with him and just see what it's like when I'm interviewed by someone else, and you get a different perspective on my beliefs when somebody else is asking the questions, instead of me just blabbering on and on here. The next thing I wanted to mention is that I'm going to be making a trip to England in the summer next year, and I want to invite any of you who are interested in meeting with me, maybe having a get-together, to come meet with me and try to arrange a meetup. I'd like to develop a group of people that would like to work with me on developing a group in England that practices my new tradition of diabolism, because I believe that Satan's presence is very strong in the UK. I believe that there is a lot of history and a lot of folklore and a lot of spiritual proof that Satan's presence is incredibly strong in the UK. And I would feel remiss if I didn't develop a group there in England. In addition to that, as some of you may know, I worked with a group for 17 years in England, and I've traveled many times to England in the process of working with that group. And I consider that group my family. I consider that group my heritage. I consider that group my lineage. And I would not feel appropriate not connecting with the land and the spirit of that place. Because I'm starting to practice more traditional witchcraft, more hoodoo, ancestor worship has become an important part of my practices, and it's going to become an important part of the new tradition. We're going to honor the ancestors. And what I mean by ancestors is the witches that came before us, the Satanists that came before us. They're going to play a prominent role in the religion, whereas they didn't before. I feel very strongly that the witches and the Satanists that came before us have not been honored and not been respected. And because I consider the group that I was a part of still to be part of my family, even though I haven't spoken to them in a while, and I don't know that they're actively doing anything spiritually. I don't know what they're up to right now, but I still respect them for all they did for me and all the things that I experienced as part of that group. And so I want to make sure that I honor them and remember them by going back to the place where these events occurred. And I'm going to consecrate my tools as a way of remembering and reconnecting with that with that group of people. And I just feel like I have to do that. So that's one of the reasons I'm going back. Plus, I'm going to be visiting a friend. But anyway, so if you're interested in meeting up with me and you're in the southwest of England, Plymouth, Exeter, London, anywhere in that area, and you'd like to meet up, get in touch with me by my email address or by Twitter, and I will try to keep up with you and give you updates as we get closer to the time when I'm going to visit England. Also, I want to mention to everybody that my website is down right now. I don't know why it's down. I don't know if I've been hacked or if I'm having problems with my web host. It's definitely not because I didn't pay the bill, because the bill's been paid. So it's obviously some technical issue. I don't know how long it's going to be before the website gets back up at rjwomack.com, but I will try to correct it as soon as possible, as soon as I find out what's going on. Also, once I do launch the new tradition of diabolism, I'm going to be launching a couple of websites to go along with it. And when I do launch the website, I'll be putting out a periodical. I'll be putting out a Kindle book, which is going to be basically a Kindle magazine or a Kindle journal, where I'm going to be laying out my tradition in bits and pieces. Instead of taking the time to write a whole book, I'm going to be releasing a periodical about every 3 months, so that I can slowly release my tradition and rituals and things like that. So I'll be letting you know about that as time gets closer as well. But as I said, that won't be happening probably until December or January. The first episode or the first issue will be coming out. Excuse me. But that's it for now, guys. I hope I've given you all the information you need. And if you have written to me and I haven't responded to you, it's not because I'm ignoring you. It's because I've been really busy and I've been devoting myself to daily practice, as well as all the other things that I have to do on a daily basis. So I will be getting back to you if you've written to me or left me a message on SpeakPipe. Don't think I'm ignoring you, or don't think that I take you for granted, or don't think that I don't appreciate your interest in what I'm doing. I really do. So I hope this has helped you a little bit, given you a little information on what's going on. And if there's anything else I can do for you, or any questions I can answer for you, please don't hesitate to send me an email. And I apologize for the inconvenience of the website being down, and I will try to correct that as soon as possible. Thanks. I'll see you next time, guys. Later.
Thank you for listening to the Dark Illumination Report podcast. For the latest news headlines, show information, and more, go to rjwomack.com. That's rjwomack.com.